Kia ora koutou. Welcome to Leap into Literacy, Bite-Sized Learning with Learning Matters. In this video, we're going to be focusing on word level reading fluency. My name is Carla McNeil. I'm the Managing Director here at Learning Matters. Today, I'm going to be teaching you why it is so important that we support our children and our students to really be able to lift words off the page. So first and foremost, I just want to give you a little bit of background into why this is so important. And I want to build your understanding as parents and potentially teachers that reading is not just about reading texts. It's important that we understand that our children are reading when they are reading sounds, when they are reading words, when they are reading sentences, passages, and of course texts or books that they may historically bring home. We want our children to be able to lift the words off the page with as much simplicity and automaticity as absolutely possible. We literally want the words to pop off the page. That doesn't just happen though, and because we now know reading is not a natural process, so it's really important for us to understand as parents and teachers the importance of doing lots of word level reading activities. If your child is having difficulty reading a text, then we encourage you to go back. Can they read a sentence? Maybe you need to go back further. Can they read words, a group of words or a list of words that come out of that text? For example, if I pick up one of these decodable readers, at the back of the book you can see there is a word list. If the child that you're working with is not able to read the words, or in this case the sounds, and I come back to this book here is the word list at the back. If we cannot read the words in isolation, then it's going to be really tricky to be able to read through the connected words, or what we call the connected text in the story. So this step that I'm going to be showing you today is a really great step for you before you go into particularly reading a decodable text that follows a scope and sequence, a teaching order from simple to complex with your children. So here are a few ways that you can build word level fluency with your children. You might like to complete what we call a roll and read activity. You can see here that I've got a grid, and I'll just bring that in a wee bit closer for you to get a good look at. So I've got a grid of words really, and what I'm going to do with that grid of words with my student or my child is I'm first of all going to ask them, when they look across a line of words here, do any of those words pop off the page for them? They can't suppress the reading of those words. When that happens, that means that word has been what's called orthographically mapped or stored in their long-term word memory. So I want to know first and foremost how many of those words are literally popping off the page for that student or for that child. That then enables me to see, and it also enables them to see, what words they know they've got stored in their word bank, and where they have words that are not stored in their word bank. For example, they might read across here and they might come to this word here, which is sad, and the word is not popping off the page. I know it's not automatic, and what I will observe is I will observe hesitation in the reader. The reader will stop, and sadly, they might guess at this point. Good readers don't guess. Good readers read every sound in the word, and they may not voice all of those sounds, but if your child is a novice or struggling reader, we actually want them to voice those sounds. So I want my reader to come to this word and say sad, isolating all the sounds and then blending them back together. So when you come into using a roll and read, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to ask your child or your student, do any of these words pop off the page for you? Do you know them straight away? The second thing you're going to ask them to do is read across the lines from left to right. And you're going to notice what they do. What are their reading behaviours when they come to a word they don't know? When they don't know a word, you're going to encourage them to isolate the sounds in the word and then to blend that word back together to form a spoken word. That process in the brain helps your child to store the word in their long-term memory. Neuroscience has taught us that. So use the roll and read activity, and we're going to pop a blank PDF for you to make your own ones of these at home from the words from the books that you are teaching your children to read through. Hopefully a decodable reader if they're novice or a struggling reader. Use your roll and reads in that way to introduce that idea of reading at word level with accuracy. The second way I encourage you to use a roll and read activity by taking the words from the book and placing them into your blank template is to use it as a game. You may be able to see that there are dice numbers down here. So you might take a dice and sit down and play the game of roll and read a little bit like a 4 in a row. So we roll the dice, I land on a 3, I've got blue counters, Sam's got green counters, and I'm going to roll a 3 and choose a word that I'm going to say or read. So I might read 10. Observe how I'm reading the word. You may also have your child write the word, and then you may also have them say the word in a sentence to put it into a context. So that's how we can play the roll and read game. The winner, of course, is the person that gets 4 in a row. Another way that you may use this particular word level reading activity is through a speed reading activity. We want to develop fluent readers. That means that they will read with accuracy, with good rate, and also with good phrasing. One of the ways that we can build accuracy and encourage rate, particularly if they're a robotic reader, is to bring speed reading into the mix at word level. So what I encourage you to do is to get a timer on your phone, or you may have another timer, and you're going to tell your child that you're going to time them to read all the way through the template, reading from left to right, line by line. You may need to get a ruler or something else to help guide them and keep them focused on which line they are on by doing something like this. I will guarantee you that the first time your child does that speed reading activity, it might take them quite some time. Record their time and then set the challenge with them tomorrow, asking them if they think they can beat their time. I've never ever met a child who's not really been encouraged to beat their time the next day. And once they start to see how they can improve their time, what we observe over time is that more and more of those words pop off the page. That's what word level reading fluency is all about. All of these activities are about building the right pathways in the brain to help our children be fluent readers so that the cognitive load is decreased and they can really pay attention to the meaning of the text that they're reading and making meaning from that text. I hope you found this video to be useful. Remember, we're going to pop this little blank PDF in the link below for you to be able to access. Get busy with building word level reading fluency with your children, and we really hope that it makes a difference to them and their ability to read with confidence and also to read with accuracy and good rate when they're reading. Ka kite anō.